Hi, welcome back to Convos with Kathy. And if this is your first time visiting the channel, welcome to the conversation. I am so appreciative of your time, and I am so looking forward to sharing with you some of the things that I started to do while working remote and staying in to make sure I still stood out. Before we get started, I have to ask, if you have not yet done so, please make sure you click on the subscribe link to follow the channel. So let's get started. If you're like me, you're a total overachiever. You're somebody that aims to exceed goals. You love to make sure that you're on track, constant feedback, and just also making sure that you know what you're being measured by and what success looks like in your role and what everybody's expecting you to do. With COVID and everything that went on, things went completely haywire, right? We didn't have a roadmap on how to move forward. Of course, there's really no historic data on what an organization should do to quickly pivot kind of during a pandemic and post-pandemic, but we're all working from home, or a lot of us are working from home now, and it's kind of the norm. So I wanted to share some of the things that I started to do to make sure that I was still standing out. The first thing I did was really understand what was most important to my manager and my organization in terms of KPIs and how they were measuring my success while working from home. This is something that you can do during a one-on-one with your manager, during your next team meeting. And if you don't have any of those formalities, just simply being proactive and asking for a few minutes of your manager or senior leadership's time to understand what are the things that are most important to them that you get done or that you meet in terms of goals while you're working from home or while you guys are trying to navigate, COVID and making sure that you guys are growing as a team. The second thing that I did was really making sure that I was solution driven. I am so grateful for my first boss ever, Margaret. She instilled in me the importance of being solution oriented. Always bring a solution to every single problem. And that is a huge recommendation and something I think that a lot of people don't do in the workplace that if you started to do would really set you apart. I understand that not a lot of managers or not a lot of organizations oftentimes love somebody that is super outspoken or constantly kind of giving different ideas and whatnot. But I think if you are able to understand your manager's style or really partner with somebody within your organization that looks for someone like you that's proactive, I think you'll really start to stand out. And what I mean in terms of bringing solutions to the table is as you guys as any organization is kind of getting out of COVID and is scaling again, there are going to be roadblocks that you've really never experienced before. Try to identify trends, try to see things that maybe are about to happen, right? Try to be proactive in the solutions that you're offering or in the way that you're going about your business and get ahead of things, right? If at all possible. And if for whatever reason you can, I think just bringing the attention to your manager of things that are going on so that they can be aware and they can plan, I think will be super helpful, right? Because they have so much that they're kind of managing and looking to do. The third thing that I really pride myself on and I think has allowed me to continue to set myself apart in the workplace is being a student of the trade and really doing my homework. Especially in the beginning of the pandemic, I think a lot of people I definitely didn't even feel comfortable calling a prospect and trying to pitch a candidate for a project when I know a lot of people weren't even able to keep their entire workforce intact and were doing major reductions in their current workforce. So I started listening to podcasts on selling with empathy, how to really be able to cultivate relationships in a remote workforce. And during different market calls or different meetings with my team, whenever they asked, is there anybody that's doing anything new or how have you been able to kind of elevate your desk, I brought those things up. And I think that just showing that I had a commitment to kind of learning and continuing to learn ways to move my business forward, I think really helped set me apart during the pandemic and working remotely. The fourth thing I think that would allow you to set yourself apart or continue to stand out is being reliable, making sure that you're a value add to internal stakeholders. And that means your colleagues, that means your manager, that means somebody maybe on a team in a completely different state, but really making yourself available and a resource if you have certain strengths on a team or within your organization that you see some other teams needing additional support on, or if there's an opportunity where you'll be able to either give a short training or mentor a new hire, those are the things that you should be taking, right? Allow yourself to have the visibility and play on the strengths that you have, and making yourself a key person on your team that shows that you're reliable and you're collaborative and you're looking to help others. And then the fifth thing that I live by and I think is just so important is leading by example. We all have had really bad days during COVID, like terrible days. I have had terrible days during COVID where I have questioned if I'm good at my job, what am I doing? It was bad. I was in a dark place, and I hope you guys didn't get there, but I did. And it was difficult to sometimes wake up every day and be motivated and show up, but I think for me at least, I value being relied on and I value being, a leader, even if I don't have a formal management role. And I think that that's something that doesn't ever go out of style. Show up every day, give your 110%. And even if you can't do 110%, make sure that your work product is still at ultimate level, and really just put your best foot forward, lead by example, and you'll really set yourself apart, especially as your organization scales. They'll remember, hopefully, all the great that you did during this time. So I hope at least one of these tips will allow you to really set yourself apart. I'd love to hear from you. Please make sure you email me any questions you may have, any topics you'd love to cover, and I'll see you next time. Have a great one.